Have you ever experienced a moment in life so strange, so perplexing, that it leaves you with more questions than answers? Something happens, and even after it's over, you can't help but keep wondering what just happened. Well, I had one of those moments not too long ago, and today, I want to share it with you. So picture this. It was a regular morning. I was getting ready for my day, doing what any parent might do, heading to the bathroom. Now, you know those moments when you just want a few minutes of peace and quiet. A little solitude to get your thoughts in order, prepare for the day ahead, and maybe just breathe for a moment. That's what I was hoping for when I walked into the bathroom, but then, something unexpected happened. As I was standing there, doing what I needed to do, I suddenly heard a knock. Not just any knock, but the kind of knock that made me stop, in my tracks. It was a soft, deliberate tap on the bathroom door, followed by the faint sound of footsteps retreating down the hallway. My heart skipped a beat, and for a second, I couldn't move now. I've had my share of knocks on the door, from my kids, but this one was different. There was something odd about it. Why? Because my son wasn't even supposed to be home at that time. He was at school, and it wasn't the usual time for him to come home. This little knock, this seemingly innocent moment, set off a chain of thoughts that still haunt me, so I opened the door, thinking maybe I just imagined it. That perhaps it was something I heard from another room, but as soon as I stepped out, there was no sign of him. I checked the living room, the kitchen, and even his room, nothing. It was as if he had never been there. I'll admit, my mind started racing. Was it just a fluke? Did I imagine the whole thing? It was so real, though so vivid, that I couldn't shake the feeling that something had happened, something beyond the normal. I knew he wasn't home, so where did that knock come from now? At first, I tried to brush it off. I thought, maybe it was the wind or some creaky part of the house making strange noises. But deep down, I couldn't ignore that nagging feeling. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that this wasn't just a simple, coincidental knock. It was as if someone or something wanted my attention at that exact moment. It's funny, isn't it? How our minds work in mysterious ways. How one small event can set off a chain reaction of thoughts and ideas, making us question everything. The whole day, I kept replaying that moment in my head, kept trying to figure out what had really happened. What I had missed, so I decided to reach out to my son. I called him, asking him if he had come home early from school, or if he had even been around. His response was simple, but it didn't help. No, Dad, I'm at school, I haven't been home. It was like he wasn't even aware of the situation, like it had never occurred at that point. I started wondering if I was just overthinking it. Maybe the knock was just my imagination, playing tricks on me. Or maybe it was some strange coincidence. But then, later that evening, something even stranger happened. While we were sitting down to dinner, my son suddenly asked me, Dad, did you hear someone knock on the bathroom door earlier today? His question caught me off guard. It was as if he knew exactly what I was thinking. How could he possibly know about the knock? He wasn't home, and I hadn't mentioned it to anyone, but there he was, asking about it as if it was just another ordinary conversation. That moment, right there, hit me like a ton of bricks. I had been questioning the incident all day, doubting myself, wondering if I had imagined the whole thing, and then, my son, completely out of the blue, brings it up. It was as if he had some kind of connection to the event, some unexplainable awareness. I asked him how he knew about it, but he just shrugged and said, I don't know, I just had a feeling. And that was it. There was no explanation. There was no follow-up. Just a simple statement that left me feeling even more puzzled. So here I am, still thinking about that knock, still wondering what it all means. Was it a message? Was it something trying to reach me? Or was it just a coincidence? There's no way to really know for sure. Maybe it was just one of those strange things that happen in life, the kind of moment that leaves you with more questions than answers. But one thing's for sure. That little knock changed something inside of me. It made me realize just how much we rely on our senses, our intuition, and the strange ways in which the universe communicates with us. It made me understand that sometimes, the most inexplicable moments are the ones that stay with us the longest, the ones that keep us wondering and questioning long after they've passed. And here's the part that really gets me. I may never get an answer. I may never fully understand what happened that day, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it happened. It doesn't take away from the feeling that something was trying to get my attention. Something that I can't quite explain now. I know this might sound a little strange, but I wonder how many of us have had experiences like this, moments where things don't quite add up, where we're left with a lingering question that doesn't seem to have a clear answer. And yet those are the moments that stick with us the most, the ones we carry with us even after time has passed. So, what do you think happened? Was it just a coincidence? Or is there something more to this little mystery? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you've experienced something similar, something that made you question the world around you. Let me know in the comments. Let's share our stories and see if we can unravel this mystery together. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. So, as I reflected more on that strange experience, I couldn't help but think about the nature of these kinds of moments. You know, the ones that just don't quite fit into the box of what we'd consider normal or explainable. They're the types of experiences that make us pause, make us question, and whether we admit it or not, leave us feeling a little unsettled. It's funny how life has a way of throwing these odd, unexplainable things our way, almost like little puzzle pieces that don't seem to connect at first. You start thinking it's all just random, maybe even forget about it for a while, but then, something happens, another little moment. Another strange occurrence, and suddenly, you realize you've been piecing together the bigger picture without even knowing it. Take this knock, for example. At first, I thought maybe it was just a glitch in my perception, a product of a busy mind. But after that conversation with my son, I started wondering, could there be more to this? Could the universe or whatever higher force you believe in be sending us messages in the most unexpected ways? It's like the universe has a subtle way of letting us know that not everything is as it seems. That we're part of something bigger than we realize. And you know, when you think about it, this isn't the first time something like this has happened in my life. Sure, this particular incident was strange, but there have been other moments, small things, almost insignificant, that, when added up, start forming a pattern. Maybe they were trying to guide me, make me more aware of the unseen forces around us. Think about the people who've crossed your path at just the right moment. The way a small decision in life can lead to something monumental, or how an instinct or gut feeling has saved you from making a wrong choice. Sometimes, it's like these invisible threads weave us into the right place at the right time. Even if we don't see it at first, I guess we're all just trying to make sense of it all. And moments like these challenge us to do exactly that. As time has gone by, I've had conversations with friends, family, even strangers, and it turns out, believe it or not, this kind of thing isn't so rare, after all. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, but the more I talk about it, the more I hear stories of others who've had similar experiences. Things that don't make sense at the time but somehow feel incredibly significant. These little things, these mysteries, are what make life so intriguing. They remind us that we can't control everything, and that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than we can see with our eyes. What's interesting is that while we might not have control over these moments, they do control us. In a way, they get into our minds, stir up emotions we didn't know we had, and make us reflect on things we never thought to reflect on before. In the case of this knock, I began to question everything around me. Was I really aware of was I truly present in my life? The fact that my son, without knowing anything about what happened, brought up the knock, well, that was just the universe nudging me again, reminding me that there's more to the world than meets the eye. And, if we're being honest, I think it's these moments, the ones that don't fit into the everyday narrative, that are the most important, because they force us to step outside the comfort zone of our predictable lives and ask questions. They encourage us to be open to the unknown, to let go of our need for logical answers, and to embrace the mystery. The more I think about it, the more I realize that our understanding of the world is limited by what we can see and touch. But there's so much more happening behind the scenes, so much more we'll never fully understand. Maybe the knock was just a strange occurrence, or maybe it was something more. But either way, it's a reminder that we don't have all the answers, and that's okay. Sometimes, not knowing is the best part. I don't have a definitive answer to the mystery of that knock, and I probably never will. But that's the beauty of it. It keeps me curious, it keeps me thinking, and maybe, in the end, that's the most important lesson: being open to the unknown, staying curious, and always wondering what might be just beyond our understanding. So, as I continue to reflect on this strange event, I encourage you to think about your own life. Are there moments that you can't explain? Have you ever experienced something that made you stop and think, what just happened? If you have, I'd love to hear about it. Let's keep this conversation going, because who knows, maybe we'll unravel more mysteries together. Thanks again for taking the time to listen to my story. It's funny how one small moment, something as simple as a knock on a bathroom door, can lead to so many thoughts and questions. And as strange as it was, I'm grateful for it because, in the end, those are the moments that make life feel so rich, so full of possibility. I can't wait to hear what you think. Until next time, stay curious as time moves forward. I find myself coming back to that moment more and more. You know how sometimes a memory or event doesn't quite leave you. It lingers, it stays with you in the background of your mind, popping up at random times, making you revisit it and wonder if there's something deeper at play. That knock, that seemingly trivial event, became one of those memories for me. It's funny how life can surprise us with these inexplicable moments, moments that cause us to reflect, to look inward now, after all this time. I can't help but think about how strange it is to be surrounded by so much mystery in our daily lives. Whether it's the little coincidences that seem to happen just when you need them, or the moments when everything feels just a little too perfect to be true, life has a way of throwing us off balance. We go through our routines, caught up in the hustle and bustle, not always noticing the little things that are happening around us, the signs that are waiting to be noticed, and I think that's why this knock, this simple occurrence, became so significant. It wasn't just the sound of a door being tapped, it was the way it made me feel, the way it made me question the reality I thought I knew. It was the fact that, even though it seemed insignificant at the time, it had a lasting impact on my perception. It opened my eyes to the idea that life is full of these small, seemingly unimportant events that can change everything if we allow them to. I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and it's incredible how many have had their own version of a moment like mine, a small thing that doesn't seem to matter at first, but when it happens, it shifts something inside of them. Maybe it's a fleeting thought, a gut feeling, or a moment of déjà vu. But these things have power. They make us stop and think. They invite us to explore the unknown and question what's possible. I think we all have those moments. Those flashes of insight that come out of nowhere. Those quiet realizations that hit us when we least expect them. It's like we're being nudged by something bigger than ourselves, reminding us that we don't always have to have all the answers. In fact, sometimes, not knowing is the most powerful part of the experience now. As I reflect on that moment with the knock, I realize that it wasn't just a strange event. It was a lesson. A lesson in being present, in paying attention to the world around us, and in embracing the unknown. Life isn't always about having everything figured out. Sometimes, it's about being open to the mysteries, to the moments that don't have clear explanations. Because those are the moments that can teach us the most, and maybe that's the key takeaway here. In a world that often feels so predictable, so structured, we need these moments of uncertainty to remind us of the magic that still exists. We need those little moments of confusion, of mystery, to shake us out of our routine and remind us that there's more to life than we can comprehend. I think it's also about trusting ourselves. Trusting that when something happens that doesn't make sense, it's okay not to have an answer sometimes. The not knowing is what leads us to the answers we seek. It's a reminder that our intuition, our feelings, our experiences, those are just as important as the logical explanations we often rely on. So, as I continue to look back on that knock, I realize that it's not just about what happened that day, it's about what it represents. It's about embracing the mysteries in life, even when they don't make sense. It's about being open to the unexpected, trusting that there's a bigger picture, and understanding that sometimes, the answers we seek aren't always going to come in the form we expect in the end. That knock was more than just a strange incident, it was a moment of reflection. A nudge from the universe, a reminder to stay curious, stay open, and never stop wondering. And I hope that, after hearing this story, you're reminded of the mysteries in your own life, the moments that made you stop and think. Because those are the moments that matter the most, even if we can't always explain them. Thank you for sticking with me through this journey of curiosity and reflection. I hope it sparks something in you, just as it did for me. And remember, life is full of these little moments, these knocks on our door, both literal and metaphorical, that invite us to think, to question, and to explore. So, the next time something happens that you don't quite understand, don't be so quick to dismiss it. It might just be a moment that changes everything.